Earlier before now, we asked a question that does church activities save mankind? We said, of course, no. Church activities does not save mankind from sin. Because in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, from verse 1, the Bible said, in everything in life, there is time. Time to sow and time to reap. Time to be born and time to die. That is why we say church activities, regular or routine church activity does not save man. If you like, sleep in the church from morning to night. If you like, pack all your load and luggages, go to the church and sleep. If your life is not sincere with God, if your activities or your service is not in line or in accordance to the doctrine of Christ, you cannot enter into the kingdom. And that is why Christ said in the book of Matthew chapter 20 verse 16, not many that call me Lord, Lord shall enter to the kingdom. He repeated it in Matthew 22 verse 14. He said, not many that call me Lord, Lord shall enter to the kingdom. Not many that call him Lord, Lord shall enter into the kingdom, and not many that call his name will enter there. That is why many are called and few are chosen. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven, these are the people that will enter into the kingdom. Now, there is something that Paul told Timothy in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 8. He said, a man that is not able or worthy of taking care of his family is worse than an infidel. He also advised the Thessalonian church in the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 10. He said, he that will not work will not eat. Meaning that you cannot take your precious time, your business time, to remain in the church. Whereas there is time for church, there is time for business. You take all the time for church, and church cannot give you money for survival. Manna cannot come from heaven. That is why Paul advised his apostles, his leaders, his subordinates to work before they eat. Because Paul the apostle work. He was a tent maker. He did not depend on the church. What does that imply? In spite of your personal aggrandizement or your spiritual aggrandizement, you must work before you eat. Whether you're a pastor, whether you're a bishop, whether you are a teacher of the word, whether you're a man of God, you must work before you eat. You don't depend on church for survival. Peter was a fisherman. He worked before he eat. St. Luke was a medical doctor. These people, they work before they eat. They did not depend on the church for survival. That is why we say church activities does not help mankind, does not save mankind from sin. You must work. Do not take your precious time. Look at the time of old. Their church or their worship was once in a week, the first day of the week. Other days, other activity days, maybe once weekly, they gather and prepare themselves for evangelism. They enter mission field. They don't have time every time. It is not gathering every time, often in the church, that take you to heaven. No. What takes you to heaven is your personal relationship with God. In your business area, you remain faithful and righteousness. In anywhere you find yourself, you remain faithful and righteous. It's what takes you to heaven. It's not sleeping in the church. For instance, there are two categories of people that went to the temple to pray: the Pharisee and the publican. The publican and the Pharisee. The Pharisee was a religious proselyte. He was a religious leader. He was too religious. He went to the temple. Look at his pattern of prayer. He said, thank God, I am not an idolater. I am not a thief. I am not an extortioner. I pay my tithe regularly. In the book of Luke chapter 18, read from verse 10 to 13. He said, I pay my tithe regularly. I am not an extortioner. I am not a thief. Remember, he is a religious fanatic. And he also said, thank God that he's not a thief. Now, look at what happened. The publican, a mere sinner, common sinner, said, God forgive me, for I am a sinner. God forgive me. He acknowledged, he confessed. Christ said his prayer was acceptable. But the prayer of the religious fanatics who failed church activity will save him, who failed paying tithe will save him, who sleep in the church, who felt that he observed every church activities that will save him. Christ cancelled his prayer. Many people are like that today. They failed church activities have a greater role to play in their life. No, sir. You must recognize Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. That is why we said church activities does not take mankind, does not save mankind rather. Religious followers, we should be wise. The Bible says, be wiser as serpents and harmless as dove. Sleeping in the church does not save mankind. Let us have time for everything. Take care of your family and still take care of your spiritual life. Not sleeping in the church. Every time in the church. That is why we think it's a school of thought. Based on these facts, sleeping in church or church activities does not save mankind. Therefore, we shall give you instances later after now.